Hello everyone and welcome to Storyteller Tarot. Today's sponsor is Wolf of the Past, a Werewolf Romance by A.Z. McLean. David was a boy without a family, stealing to survive until an unexpected meeting changed his life forever. Nicole was a college student trying to cope with the recent deaths of her adoptive parents. Grief soon becomes the least of her worries, as a sudden change in her life puts her against powers greater than herself. Nicole has the help of two unlikely allies, a strange black wolf and an even stranger man, David. But should she trust this stranger who seems to know so much about her and stirs up feelings she has never had before? And more importantly, can David really help her finally understand the nightmares that have plagued her entire life? If you enjoyed that description of Wolf of the Past, Werewolf Romance by A.D. McLean, just stick around because I will be providing a brief excerpt from that very book at the end of today's reading. We have the fox, melody of truth, eighth house, mystery, youthful folly, a lot of cards here. Okay, so let's see what story the cards have to tell us today. Our initial card here was the Moon card. Now, the Moon, as we know, symbolizes mystery, trusting intuition, looking beyond surface appearances. But in the reverse, it can also speak of deceit, suspicion, mistrusting your intuition. So it's a card about things not being what they seem, about trusting your intuition, about getting beneath the surface to find out what the truth of things are. Interestingly enough, we also have the eighth house here with mystery, and the fox with cunning and deceit. So there's a lot here going on, talking about looking for truth, looking past illusions to get to the mystery. So right here, the Ching card, youthful folly, the number 4 on it. It says here, mountain above, water below. In the guidebook, let's see what it has to say about youthful folly. Be on guard for the careless and rebellious attitudes characteristic of inexperience. Just as youth requires instruction, this is a good time to focus on learning lessons from a patient teacher or from life experience. Is there a circumstance in your life that you have failed to comprehend, perhaps because you didn't appreciate its inherent complexities? Be respectful of anything or anyone who has something to teach you right now. If you are focusing on a relationship, ask yourself, which of you is currently the student and which of you is the sage? So it talks about observing mistakes, learning, Examine your attitude for factors that would limit your openness. Okay, so let's go a little bit deeper here into this mystery card. This mystery card talks about power dynamics between people, about people using resources to manipulate you, to get you to do things that they want to do. Money, affection, things of that nature. And the power dynamics between you and other people for these resources. So it challenges you not to be the person who's withholding love or power or money from other people in order to get what you want, and also to be aware of other people who might be doing that to you, and facing your worst fears, stepping through that, and being liberated from the trap of manipulation that falls away when you don't bite the hook. So it's all about the manipulation, and also acknowledging that death exists, and to be fully alive in response. So this one has the number 46 on it. So we've got the 4 and the 46. Now, the Fox card, got a couple of numbers on there, the 14 and the 9. Fox card, of course, you know, foxes are cunning. They have a sharp mind, but they can be deceitful. The general meaning of this card is clashing with insidious people. Gossip, intrigue, cunning, the use of personal interest, the search for profit. It can talk about fraud, deceit, malice, desire for profit. Also looking out for betrayal, distrusting people, rivalry, people being against you. So just like you have the problem here with manipulative people using you and withholding things from you, you also have this card cautioning you about looking out for those deceitful people. The Moon card telling you to look deeper. The Melody of Truth, looking for the truth in the situation. So the story today, so far, seems to be pretty cohesive. And this one, when talking about the relationships between people and what you can learn, who is the teacher, who is the student, giving up, trying to convince others that you're right. So there's a lot about learning, about digging deeper and getting into that. So let's see what the tarot cards have to say, if they can give us any clarification about where this is going. We've got 2 decks that we drew from today. This one gave us a lot of cards in the shuffling. So let's start here with, we've got the Hermit, Strength, the Knight of Cups, and the Emperor. Let's see what meaning we can get from here. I had a slight camera malfunction there, so I'm going to go back here and review some of the items that we have here in these tarot cards. Now, the Knight of Cups is a youthful energy that has to do with romance, creativity, intuition. It has an excitement to it. It has an excitement air to it. So it's that energy that you have when you're getting into a new thing, when you're getting into the experience. We have the Hermit here. He spends his time studying, looking deeper, getting to the truth, getting in touch with his intuition. So while the Youthful Folly card talks about the teacher and the student, the Hermit is learning. He's spending that time learning about himself, learning how to get through the mysteries, how to get through to the truth. The Emperor card, strong masculine energy. He's the one who can put those plans into motion, who can take the experiences, get past the problems, and know how to implement what he's learned through all of the experiences to get to where he needs to go. And the Strength card, giving that strength there to the Emperor, but also with the power of forgiveness. So when you're dealing here with those deceitful people, with those people who are withholding the truth that you had to go through the mystery to get to, the Strength card reminds us to have forgiveness and understanding and compassion for those who have put us through that experience. So it reminds us about forgiveness and compassion. It's the strength of forgiveness. A lot of times people think of strength as just brute strength, but it's also the strength to forgive when you've been hurt. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our other tarot deck. We have a large stack of cards here to get through, so I'll try to do this as quickly as possible. We've got the Star card. We've got the Eight of Wands, Queen of Swords, Eight of Coins, that's another 8, the Knight of Swords, the Four of Coins, Three of Coins, Tower, got the Nine of Swords here, Ten of Swords, Eight of Cups, so we've got another 8. We've got Temperance, and we've got the Devil. A lot of cards to get through. So, first things first, I'm gonna move these down just a little bit. So, the Knight of Swords is about truth. It's about making sure that you've examined the big picture, including opposing ideas, before you fight for your ideas. Lacking a plan or a strategy, being too rigid, and not seeing new developments or intolerance is what this card cautions against. So it's a focused, driven card. He uses logic to support his own agenda, which can be awesome or it can be deeply flawed. Marvelously skilled with words, he can convince people that he is right. That's a great power and brings with it responsibility. Fighting for the truth is great, but he doesn't always verify that his ideas are the truth. So this card has a lot of power. He's got that strength. He's got that drive and the ability to bring people over to his plan, but he has to be tempered with truth. He has to spend the time as the hermit learning the truth so that he can put his plans into action here with the Emperor. So he needs to be tempered there with the truth that he's learned through examining the mysteries. Now the Queen of Swords, she's also a card about learning. She's taken all of her experiences in life and turned them into life lessons so that she can learn what she needs to do next. This card also talks about letting the challenging times make you stronger, but not cynical or cold. So it's about going through those hard times, going through the deceitful people, through the problems, and learning like the hermit, but taking that strength of forgiveness in order to not be a cold, cynical person. Being a strong person who's got the strength of forgiveness and compassion and a little bit of that youthful joy still intact. Now, here we've got the 9 and the 10 of Swords. Now, the 10 of Swords, as you can see, she's damaged. She's been through the hard times, and there's something left. Even though she's over it, she's at that sunrise. There's a new beginning coming. There's an end to something else, and it was painful. There was a lot that she went through that wasn't pleasant. And there are going to be lessons there that are learned that she has to take with her. She learned trying to change the outcome is a waste of time and energy. You have to take what you've learned and move into a future that will be better. So, just like there with the Queen of Swords, she's learned her lessons. She's been through the pain that deceit, the pain that brought her. She's been through the pain, but she's come out on the other side, and she's ready for a new beginning. The 9 of Swords talks about those difficult times. It talks about dreaded thoughts that steal your sleep, wake you up in the dead of night. Look at this. We've got this man here. He's in bed, covered in his blankets, and he's waking up with all the monstrous thoughts that are behind him. They're tormenting him, keeping him from sleeping, keeping him from getting the benefit of the rest. And the more that you feed those thoughts, the stronger they get and the weaker you feel. Regret, mistakes, all of that just keeps eating away at you. The smallest act or thought threatens to consume you. This card tells us to develop a set of ideas to try until we find one that works. Meditation, lists, just getting up and doing things productive. So this one shows us if you don't take the strength, the forgiveness, the lessons that the Queen has learned, and that this 10 of Swords has learned, if you don't take these lessons and you hold on to all of the thoughts of the deceits and the problems, it's going to leave you feeling eaten up inside and not strong. You're going to have all of those problems where you're unable to move on. You're going to be consumed by what you've been through. Now, we have got a couple of major arcana cards here. Tower, the Devil, Temperance, the Star. The Star marks a period of rest and healing. The things that your spirit needs to rejuvenate are close at hand, and for this time, however long or short, you can exhale and relax. During this time of calm, it is easier to find your true north. The next inhale brings inspiration and eagerness to continue on, knowing that things will be okay in the end. So this is that rest that you need. You've been through all of this. You've been through all of this trouble, the tribulations, being hurt by the lies and the dishonesty, the mystery. And it's threatened to overcome your youthful energy and excitement. But you spent the time learning, being able to discern the truth, getting through the troubles, learning from the lessons, being strong. But you also need that time of rest. Just like this, just like here with the Nine of Swords. The troubles, when you don't let go of them, they steal your rest. But we need that rest. We need that rest to recharge so that we can start anew. Now, the Tower talks about things feeling chaotic, crazy, life falling apart, feeling of loss, the desire to hold on tight to what was. Not everything will be destroyed, but it feels like it. But the things that fall, it's for the greater good. It's going to lead you to a better life. Just like the Ten of Swords. She's been through the ringer. She's been through the pain. Things fell apart. She's leaving that painful past behind to build a brighter future. Now, the Devil card talks about something is holding the situation and the people involved captive. Devil is all about being bound to unhealthy or inauthentic things, behaviors, and people that keep you in bondage. Whatever is going on, not your best interest. It's contrary to the desires of your heart and your soul's purpose. You can feel hopeless and helpless, but you're not. You might be caught in powerful destructive cycle, but you also have the ability to break free. Do whatever it takes and involve outside help if necessary. So, again, you've got this manipulative force from the 8th house here. It's manipulating you. It's keeping you captive. But you can break free. You can break free from those destructive thoughts. And you can become stronger through the end. How do we do that? Temperance. Grace in the face of intense pressure or difficult circumstances. It makes the situation seem extraordinary. Choices, actions, thoughts, words all seem touched with alchemy, and everything containing the perfect amounts of truth, compassion, and strength. It is not a case of simply mixing equal parts, but finding the truth in just the right ratio. This card right here, it talks about getting through those intense difficulties. And you are taking the truth. You're getting through the lies, through the deceit. And you are taking the compassion of that strength card. You're getting through on the other side, but balanced. Using your intuition, using your grace, trusting your inner voice that you've developed there with the Hermit. Let's see what we've got left here. We've got the 8 of Wands, the 8 of Cups, the 8 of Pentacles, and a couple more Pentacles here. So let's see what else this reading has to tell us. Okay, so first let's look at our 8s. So the 8 of Wands is about having all your ducks in a row, ready to fly. Events have set in motion. It's going to come to that good outcome. The end result shouldn't be a surprise because it's the logical conclusion. Whatever steps have been taken, they will continue on, perhaps faster than anticipated, and achieve the intended effect. Trying to stop things at this point could work, but would cause utter chaos. You've done the work, so step back and let things play out. So, this card, you've gone through the work. You've discovered the truth. You've gone through your tower moment. You've done the discerning. And now you just need to let things play out. Let things play out to their natural conclusion. The 8 of Cups says, sometimes things are pretty good. Everything seems just fine except for this deep but persistent urge to move on. There is nothing that you can put your finger on as the reason why you want to go. You just do. This makes it hard to rationalize or talk to others about it. It may look like you are throwing away a perfectly good life or job or relationship or opportunity, but your heart knows it's no longer for you. Be brave and listen to your heart, even though it is hard. Even though you might not be completely sure what you are chasing after, and others might not understand, staying will lead to bitterness. This one here, it's about trusting that inner intuition. Sometimes, even when you don't know the truth yet, even when you don't understand all the details, you still have that melody of truth playing in your heart. It's telling you that you need to move on. It's telling that you need to start going through that discernment process, that you need to start figuring out where you need to go and take those steps, even if they don't make sense. We've got the 8 of Coins. You have the opportunity to improve. It's one thing to have a skill, it's another thing entirely to master a skill. Taking an ability to the next level requires a commitment to practice that few choose to make. However, while practicing can feel boring, to people dedicated to improving, it isn't, because they have a passion for the craft itself. Each tiny bit of improvement is an accomplishment. Take pride in your work and foster the patience to do the hard work of actually getting better at what you do. This card talks about patience, learning, improving yourself. Just like the hermit takes that time in the quiet solitude to improve himself, to get stronger, so that he can become balanced, so that he can develop temperance and get there with the Queen of Swords, get where he needs to be, what he needs to learn. This is about the hard work that it takes. It's not just the sitting and meditating, it's the practicing the skills. It's putting them into action, it's developing it. And now we've got the 3 and the 4 of Coins. Now the 3 of Coins talks about working as a team. People have different abilities, so you can let them use those abilities. Dreamers dream, planners plan, makers make, to achieve great things. Can also represent a situation where you are using various skills of your own to do something wonderful, whether on your own or in a team. You can pull those talents together. Remember that everyone is on the same team, working together to the same goal. Bring your best self to the project and help facilitate smooth teamwork. So you're putting that practice into play, working with all the sides of yourself or with all the people that are on your team, working hard, using that strength, using that truth that you've discerned from the Hermit to get through there. And 4 of Coins talks about energy and resources. They are meant to flow. However, there are times when saving or conserving is the wisest course of action. It cautions being careful in building your investments, because the time is coming when a nest egg or a safety net will be needed. When you're planning for a trip, planning for the future, being aware of things that could happen in the future, being careful with your budget and your resources, storing up your power so it can come in handy for the future. So this card, it talks about resources flowing. It talks about how we have the abundance, but it also talks about using them wisely through the wisdom that you've gained through all of your trials, putting that into play, putting that into action, and making sure that you're using your logic, your intuition, your little bit of youthful exuberance and energy. You want to temper all of those things together so you don't become cold and cynical. You don't want to become cold and cynical. You want to have that strong balance. Everything in balance, so that you can do what you need to do and set things in motion to follow their ultimate conclusion. Once upon a time, there was an energetic Knight of Cups. He knew that something wasn't quite right and that he needed to make a change. But he didn't quite know why his instincts were telling him this. All he knew was that the melody of truth was playing to his soul and telling him something wasn't right. So he spent time looking into the darkness, examining the mysteries, looking for truth. He found deceit, lies, and with his cunning, he was able to learn more. There were those manipulating him. There were things that he wasn't seeing before, things that he needed to liberate himself from, to break free, to escape this mystery. The deceitful ones didn't want him to break free. They wanted to keep him trapped. And for a time, he knew what that would be like. Trapped by his monsters, unable to rest, plagued with doubt and horrible thoughts. He needed the quiet, the time to think for himself, to learn, to examine the truth beyond the lies. It would take hard work and patience. He would have to practice all of his skills and become stronger than the darkness, stronger than the deceit and the lies as he stepped into the light. They must also plan for the future. Look out for the pitfalls and be cautious. With his intuition, he found the truth, and he was resolved to fight it for a better life. With strength, he forgave those who had misled him, and he powered through the fight. With his strength, he also had confidence, rationality, and the ability to persevere. Using all aspects of himself and all available allies, he pushed through the challenge. And it took its natural conclusion. There was chaos. There was destruction. The past had to be destroyed. And it was painful. But the sunrise of the new day was bright and right there, a glowing beacon of hope of what was to come. Rest was needed after such a long and hard fight. He needed to rest and recharge. But afterwards he was stronger, full of confidence, all the knowledge learned from the hard lessons, but also all of the compassion and the wisdom learned throughout the journey. A teacher and a student. He had learned, but he'd also taught others along the way. Fully balanced, fully at peace, together, with a firm foundation of strength, compassion, and knowledge to get through the hard times. I'm allowed to be happy. I'm allowed to be healthy. I'm allowed to have a wonderful life. End things out today, we have one of our crystal sound healing cards, the Temple Within, Ancient Infinite Love. It has a sound code with it. The Temple Within says, as the wings of sound carry you to the temple within, open to the timeless energies of the Hathor goddess, which represent your feminine lineage. You are being transported to the Hathor temple of the Dendera temple complex in Egypt. The goddess from this temple is pictured on the card. You are being reminded that you hold within you an ancient wisdom, a deep connection to the earth, and an easy access to the vibrational frequency of love. All is alignment, and only an intention and a breath away. It is yours to choose. The Temple Within alchemy revitalizes your blood and allows you to thrive. It creates strength and vitality. As you connect to the ancient vibrations, you are reminded you are infinite, a part of the universe made of stardust and the earth. This alchemy also balances your chakra systems. The Temple Within and the Goddess Hathor vibrations steep you in the frequencies of ancient Egypt, of harmony, and the universal solvent, love. Remember that you are ancient, you are infinite, and you are love. Today's crystal, with the reds and the blacks, bringing to mind the root chakra. So as we balance out our chakras, our root chakra, when the root chakra is unbalanced, it can cause fear and panic. And we need that for our foundation. We need the chakra balanced for our foundation so that we can move on. So just like we had with the Nine of Swords, when he was caught in the fears and the imbalance, the monsters plaguing him, keeping him from resting. We want to balance out that energy. We want to have an energy of peace where we're not plagued by fears, where we can move on with confidence and love and compassion. But we have to get our foundation right. We have to balance out our foundation. So today I'm going to keep playing these wonderful sounds from the crystal healing cards here. And I'm going to read you just a brief excerpt from today's sponsor, Wolf of the Past by A.D. McLean. Before she knew what he was doing, he'd slipped her glasses off. "Oh, I don't think that's such a good idea. My eyes are pretty bad," she protested. He put her glasses on the table beside their drinks. "They look good to me." She inhaled a shaky breath. His voice was filled with what sounded suspiciously like desire. "You know what I mean." "What do you see?" "You, only you're blurry." "How close would I have to be for you to see me clearly?" he asked. He took a step toward her. "This close?" She forced herself to keep breathing. There was no mistaking the desire in his voice now. A little closer. He took another step toward her. Now they were almost touching. She could see him perfectly clearly. Regardless, she found herself saying, "A little closer." He took another step toward her. Their faces were mere inches apart now. This time when she opened her mouth to speak, she wasn't alone. They spoke simultaneously. A little closer. David started to close the remaining distance, but an instant before his lips would have met hers, she ducked away. "I love this song. Let's dance." Nicole reached for her glasses and slipped them back on. "Come on." She took his hands and led him to the center of the room. "You can dance, can't you?" "Can I dance? Of course I can dance." He proceeded to do some dance moves, which were throwbacks from the 70s. She tried unsuccessfully to keep from laughing. He stopped and offered her the most innocent look she'd ever seen. "No?" he shrugged. "Okay." He grabbed her and spun her around a couple of times before lowering her into a dip. "Better?" Still draped over his arm, she responded, "Better." He lifted her up and pulled her close to him, close enough to feel her breath on his neck. He held her so tightly he could feel her heart beating. Every inch of her was pressed against him, leaving little question as to how turned on he was. He lowered his head, brushing his lips lightly across hers. Nicole's eyes closed, and he could feel her trembling. I hope you enjoyed today's excerpt from Wolf of the Past by A.D. McLean. The links are in the description if you would like to learn more about this book or any of the other books in her series. Thank you for tuning in today, and remember, be the you God sees.